Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Shrutika and today we are going to learn a new chapter from class 11, that is respiration in plants. So we all know that respiration is a very important process that helps all the living organism to survive. So respiration is basically a energy giving process which helps in producing energy in our body that will help us in doing our day-to-day work. So we all know that all the living organism like animals, human beings, we all breathe and we have specialized organs for this process. But what about plants? Do plants also breathe? Do plants also respire? Yes. So plants also undergoes respiration because oxygen is used up in plants for its process. So we can say that plants are also respiring. So how do they do this? Do they have any organs like us to breathe? Do they have nose? Do they have lungs? Do they have a respiratory system for breathing? No. But how do they do this? So plants will have a specialized cell organelle called as stomata and lenticels, which helps them to do the respiration process. So in this chapter, let us see how the respiration process occurs in plants and what are the steps in the respiration process. So first, let us know what is the meaning of respiration. So respiration is an energy releasing process. So respiration, it is an energy releasing, enzymatically controlled catabolic process which involves a stepwise oxidative breakdown of food into living cells, inside the living cells. So here what happens, the food that we eat is broken down by the enzymes in a catabolic process which helps in releasing of energy. That energy is further used by our body to do our day-to-day work. So same process happens in plants wherein the glucose which is stored in the plant in form of starch is broken down enzymatically to form energy that is used by the plant for its processes. So living organism requires energy for all activities like absorption, movement, then reproduction or even breathing. So energy required is obtained from oxidation of food during respiration, that the food that we eat is then oxidized by the and then energy is produced. So cellular respiration is the mechanism of breakdown of food material within the cell to release energy for the end synthesis of ATP. Breakdown of complex molecules takes place to produce energy in cytoplasm and in the mitochondria. So this process basically takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell and in the mitochondria. Breaking down of carbon-carbon bonds of complex compounds through oxidation within the cell leads to release of energy, and this is called as respiration. That the compounds that get oxidized are called oxidatory substrate. The substrate as in the compound which will get oxidized. So this will be a substrate which will get oxidized by the action of oxygen. So energy released during this process is not used directly but utilized in synthesis of ATP, which is then further broken down to give energy which is required. So this substrate will be acted upon by the oxygen, and then this substrate will be oxidized and it will form what? ATP, and further this ATP will break down to form energy which will be utilized by our body. So therefore ATP is called as the energy currency of the cell, and the process of respiration requires oxygen, and in plants oxygen is taken in by stomata, lenticel and the root hairs. So in plants there is no respiratory system such as human beings have a respiratory system which consists of nostrils, then the tracheas, then your lungs, and this is how respiration happens in the human beings. But plants do not have lungs, nostrils, but they have stomata, lenticels and root hairs which helps in exchange of these gases. which will help in the process of respiration in plants. So now let us see which are the two types of respirations that happens in organism. So respiration is divided into two forms or two types, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So what is aerobic respiration? Aerobic as in, that means in presence of air, that is in presence of oxygen. Air as in presence of oxygen. So aerobic respiration happens in presence of oxygen. So the respiration that takes place in presence of oxygen is called as aerobic respiration. So what is aerobic respiration? So aerobic respiration, it is an enzymatically controlled release of energy in a stepwise catabolic process of complete oxidation of organic food into carbon dioxide and water with acting of oxygen as terminal oxidant. So over here what happens is, the food that is there, the substrate which is there, it is acted upon by oxygen in presence of carbon dioxide and water to form what? Energy. So this process wherein the respiration process takes place in presence of oxygen, it is called as aerobic respiration. Then let us see what is the second type of respiration. So the second type of respiration is anaerobic respiration, that is in absence of oxygen. So this type of respiration process happens in absence of oxygen. So it is the process of release of energy in enzymatically controlled stepwise incomplete degradation of organic food without oxygen being used as an oxidant. So over here, incomplete degradation of organic food, that is breakdown of the food that is there, it is incomplete because it takes place in absence of oxygen. So it is not completely used, the food material which is there, it is not completely broken down to form what? Energy. So this type of respiration is termed as anaerobic respiration. So the aerobic respiration, it takes place in a cyclic catabolic process. Okay, so it is a stepwise process. So it takes place in cyclic form in 3 different cycles. The first cycle which is there is the glycolysis, then second is Krebs cycle, and the third is terminal oxidation. So these are the 3 cycles through which aerobic respiration takes place. So this we will cover in our next video in detail about glycolysis, Krebs cycle and terminal oxidation. So in today's class what we have learned is what is respiration, how respiration takes place in plants, and which are the 2 types of respiration processes, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So thank you for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment and share, subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.